Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I want to review some 9.8s that just recently sold on Comic Link. And a lot of these are key issues I would recommend to invest in a 9.8, so I'll give you a good idea, some fresh prices for these ones. I want to do this in a two-part video as well. About half of the 9.8s I'm watching on Comic Link, they end in about a day or two. And the other half ended yesterday, and that's what we'll go over in the video here. Okay, first one is an Amazing Spider-Man number 316 in a direct edition in a 9.8 white pages, sold on this Comic Link auction for $805. Yeah, that's an interesting price. About 6 to 12 months ago, this one really kind of sailed over $1,000 in the direct edition, sort of on the Let There Be Carnage trailer and hype. Now, the movie's passed on, this one cooling down a little bit. I think you could really think about grabbing one at around $800. I think $805 is a price target to aim for on an Amazing Spider-Man 316. And I remember about a year ago, this one was sort of selling for $600 to $700, and I sort of recommended it at that time as one that really has a chance to sail over the $1,000 level in the 9.8. So that kind of happened. Now it's cooling down a little bit. I think right around $800 in the direct edition for Amazing Spider-Man 316 in the 9.8. It's a great buy right now. Yeah, I think you can really just aim for that $800 price. I think it's totally worth it. Classic Venom McFarlane cover. You almost can't go wrong with that one. All right, this was a cool one to see sell. It's an all-new Ghost Rider #1. It's a first appearance of Robbie Reyes, the new Ghost Rider. A really cool style on the new Ghost Rider that I've really grown to like. And this one definitely has a following. It sold for $475. Yeah, pretty good buck for a modern 9.8. I don't know too much about this one, but I do. In the past, I've sort of saw it go for kind of $350 to $450, and had been surprised at how expensive it is. And it's kind of hanging in there for $475. I think it's a modern. Maybe aim a little closer to $400 over time on that one if you're looking to pick up an all-new Ghost Rider #1. Really cool one though. All right, next one's a huge, awesome investment grade book that sold. An Amazing Spider-Man #194 in a newsstand edition. First appearance of Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. This one went for $5,900. Yeah, this one, I really like the newsstand edition during this era. The direct editions just have like a swipe through the barcode, which doesn't have a good eye appeal for me, and I think other people kind of think the same way. So the newsstand getting a big dollar amount here, $5,900. I think the direct probably would be about $3,000, maybe even a little bit less in a CGC 9.8 white pages. So we're getting on over double for a newsstand edition. But yeah, that's a really cool one, even though pretty expensive. Amazing Spider-Man 194 newsstand edition, 9.8 white pages for $5,900. Okay, next one I do have that sold, big key as well. Amazing Spider-Man 238 in a direct edition. The one on Comic Link was in an old case, but 9.8 white pages. Ended up selling for $2,300. That's a really good price for this. This one certainly went on a ride kind of 6 to 12 months ago. There were some rumors there that like Hobgoblin was going to be maybe the next villain in a Spider-Man movie or something like that. This one really took off. $2,300 now. I think that's actually a price target to aim for on this one. This one was over $3,000. I think in the direct it was pushing $4,000. In the newsstand, over $5,000 it was. So maybe on a pullback a little bit, $2,300 actually feels like a really good value given where this one has been in the last year. And yeah, first Hobgoblin, one of the best Amazing Spider-Man covers of all time, I think. Yeah, $2,300, maybe a little bit closer to $2,000 in this one. If you want to aim for a direct version, I think is absolutely a price target to aim for and a really good value if you're investing in 9.8 comics. Okay, next one. Great to see a newsstand and a direct of the same issue kind of sell in the same group of auctions. Gives you a really good idea of the difference between a newsstand and a direct. And it's for Amazing Spider-Man 252. The newsstand version in this Comic Link auction sold for, the direct version sold for $1,477. That's looking pretty good, where this one was kind of flirting with the $2,000 level, sort of on the back of the Venom movie, and same reasoning as a 316 here. That's looking like a better deal for sure, $1,477. I think you can even aim a little bit closer to maybe $1,250. That one was around $1,000, and this one in the direct for quite a while, but there's been another leg up, kind of when the Let There Be Carnage 2 trailer dropped. So cooling off a little bit. I think that's a decent price for a direct, $1,477. And the newsstand went for $3,600. Yeah, that's getting on over double the amount for the direct for the newsstand edition of 252. That seems a little bit of a payout, maybe a bit of a bidding war kind of broke out. I did notice that it was a pretty great looking copy of a newsstand edition for 252. So, nice centering, nice colors in the newsstand edition this one was. So I think that's going to be probably the higher end of a newsstand edition in the 252, 3,600. Probably can aim closer to 3,000 over time for a 252 if you want to be patient in a newsstand edition, CGC 9.8 white pages. Okay, next one. I saw an Amazing Spider-Man 300 in a direct edition, 9.8 sell for $5,100. So on the last batch of Comic Link auctions, I think one went for $6,100 and $6,500 in the direct. That was right around the Let There Be Carnage movie release. Now they're cooling off a little bit, $5,100. Amazing Spider-Man 300, one of the best 9.8s you can buy, I think. I didn't bring mine out, but it's got that really low 9.8 percentage, which you like to see. I think you keep an eye on this one right now, under $5,000, I think is, if you want this one, if you want to invest in it in a 9.8, under $5,000, I think is a great price for an Amazing Spider-Man 300 direct edition, 9.8 white pages. So it's kind of just flirting with that just over the $5,000 level on this auction. The next one's Amazing Spider-Man 361 in a newsstand edition, first full appearance of Carnage. One of the best 90s covers to get, I think. Absolutely. This generation, the early 90s, the newsstand versions are, really attractive from a collector perspective. This one cooling down, though, selling for $907. Amazing Spider-Man 361 newsstand, 9.8 white pages, $907. We documented a bunch of these, in the last 6 months, let's call it. That went for like $1,100. And certainly, I kind of recommended during that time, you probably want to lay off the symbiote books until Let There Be Carnage comes out and kind of plays its course. And likely, these books will cool down a little bit. They were $1,100, now $907. I think, all these symbiote books are kind of getting into a decent buying territory. Certainly pulling back from kind of peak hype when that Let There Be Carnage trailer was dropped, I think. Next one was a great one to see sell that I recently purchased. An Annihilation Conquest, number 6, in a 9.8 white pages, sold for $350. That's basically what I paid for mine. I think, this book maybe heating up, getting into the Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. I still think it's, pretty great value, actually. I think new Team Guardians of the Galaxy will have a good long-term collector base, and, $350 is looking not too bad for a first big appearance of the new Guardians of the Galaxies, which were like popularized in the MCU movies. So, I paid $350 for mine about 2 months ago, and that's what they're still selling for. If you want to hunt that one down, if you're a big Guardians fan. The next one was a cool one to see, definitely cooling down as well. Avengers number 196, first full appearance of Taskmaster. This one sold for $1,000 even in an auction. Yeah, this is a great one. It's one I've really wanted over time, and right when I sort of wanted it, the Taskmaster was coming out in a Black Widow movie. Those rumors really heated up. This one, I think at one point really hit about $2,000, to be honest. This one was a direct edition in an old case, so probably near the lower end of what you would expect a 9.8 white pages in a direct to go for, because it wasn't an old case. $1,000 though, that's almost back to like the price pre-hype for Black Widow. So I think an Avengers 196, 9.8, you can think about grabbing one now. Right around $1,000, I think, is a price target to aim for. And that's even one around $1,000 making a lot of sense for me, and I think that's a good value. It's a pretty tough 9.8, great cover, and a big first appearance of Taskmaster. If you're a villains guy like me, it's really attractive. Okay, next one is a cool one to see. Batman number 404. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite, like, affordable 9.8s to invest in. I think it's an investable 9.8. It's a first modern appearance of Catwoman. The Batman year one origin. You kind of get Commissioner Gordon's origin basically in this as well. Selling for $275 in a direct edition, 9.8 white pages. Yeah, for $275, I think occasionally you'd see this one go over 300, but I still think this is a decent value. I think one of the better ones you can buy in a 9.8 white pages for around that $275 mark, especially if you're a Batman fan. Yeah, Batman number 404, 9.8 white pages for $275. A big book that's really holding its value, and I think it makes a lot of sense that it is. It's Batman Adventures number 12 in a 9.8, a direct edition, seen in this auction sell for $4,100 in the direct edition. So even like sort of 6 to 12 months ago, I think the newsstand edition was kind of going around the $4,000 level. So this one is absolutely holding its value, trending up nicely, and for good reason. Like Batman Adventures 12, it's probably the toughest 9.8 in the 1990s to get, with like a really low 9.8 ratio for a 1990s book. I think it's like 12% of all graded copies are 9.8s. And yeah, Batman Adventures is kind of like the Fox Kids book, so I feel like at first they were just throwing these to the kids to color on and rip up and stuff like that. Nobody was thinking it's a first appearance of Harley Quinn. So now it's a really tough one in a 9.8, and the collectors are paying up for it. A direct edition going for $4,100. That's one that's in the basket of like holding its value and still kind of trending up nicely. There's no real pullback in sight, I think, for Batman Adventures 12 recently. Okay, next one is just a great investment grade book, I think. Daredevil number 131, origin and first appearance of Bullseye. This one's from 1976, so it's going to be tough to get a 9.8 in this one. And it ended up selling for $3,651. So first Bullseye, really cool, classic Daredevil key. All things considered, I think $3,651 is a pretty decent value. There's a little bit of kind of Bullseye. I think it's the modern Hawkeye that's sort of introduced into the MCU or something like that. So there might be a little bit of hype for Bullseye. Maybe you can aim under 3,000 for this one in a 9.8 if you really wanted this one. But yeah, classic book. I think if you got a really long-term time horizon, even 3,651 is probably a pretty decent price for this one. A tough one in the 9.8, a big key from 1976. So yeah, pretty old one. Tough to get in a 9.8. Okay, next one's a book I've really followed and loved for pretty much the whole 2-3 years of doing the channel. It's Batman number 436, first appearance of Tim Drake. This one just really stuck out to me as a super undervalued one. It's got a decent 9.8 ratio for kind of a late 80s book, a late 80s Batman book. Big first appearance of Tim Drake. It was like around $100 2 to 3 years ago. It was one of my favorite 9.8s at that point. I was seeing one selling this Comic Link auction for $300. It was looking pretty good too. New case, that's I think basically a screaming deal. This one I've seen in the last little bit here go over 400. Yeah, 400 to 450. So maybe this one's kind of cooling off a little bit. $300 first appearance of Tim Drake. George Perez cover on this one. Yeah, I think Batman 436 around 300 is just a screaming buy basically. Yeah, first appearance of Tim Drake. There's a lot of potential I feel with like Robin first appearances. So first appearance of Tim Drake, first appearance of Jason Todd. They've stayed pretty cold throughout even the whole sort of coronavirus comic book bubble, I guess you could call it. But this one has trended up okay. Hitting that $400 level, $300 for Batman 436, 9.8. I think is just a price to aim for if you want that one. Okay, Batman: The Killing Joke in a first print, 9.8, selling for $222. I think that's a really good deal considering some of the prices I've saw on this one, getting really close to $300. This was always one where I recommended to kind of aim for 200 or maybe even a little bit less. But that was like a year ago, and then it sort of got up to 300 here. 222, I think, is a great value for this one. It's not the most rare 9.8, but a big one if you're a Batman fan. Killing Joke is one you want absolutely, and yeah, $222, 9.8 white pages for a Killing Joke, I think is a price target to aim for. Okay, last one here. We'll do these in a two-part video, as I said. Will be another batch in a few days. But Alpha Flight number 33 in a newsstand edition. This is first appearance of Lady Deathstrike in that more rare newsstand. This is kind of a late 80s book, so the newsstand's getting really wanted by collectors during this time. Because I'm kind of surprised by the price. It went for $475. Yeah, first Lady Deathstrike, $475. I do like this cover. It's kind of a homage of an early X-Men comic. But $475 is pretty expensive. Normally for this one in the direct edition, I remember a year or two ago you can get it under $100, but now it seems to be like $125 to $150. Maybe even a little bit more nowadays, but the newsstand edition going for $4.75. Yeah, newsstand focused collecting in the 9.8 is absolutely a thing. And yeah, I think given this newsstand price and then Amazing Spider-Man 252 newsstand price, $3,600, the newsstand editions are probably hanging in there a little bit better than the direct editions, and kind of makes sense. You know, they're more rare, and you know, and that's going to be more attractive for serious collectors out there. Okay, so that'll be it for today. I got 16 completed listings there, and we'll do another batch in the next few days of the rest of this Comic Link auction. In the 9.8s, they'll be ending in the next few days, so we'll review those when they end. Okay, team, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully get some good pricing information there. Always the best thing you can do, I think, if you're looking to buy some of these 9.8s, just stay updated on some current prices for a lot of these awesome big key issues. All right, team, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.